Hey for lifers, it's your girl Tiana here. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me to become part of the family here.
Ooh, it's something about the way she moves. I can't figure it out. There's something about her.
In today's video, we are doing something different. I'm doing an educational video. I feel like this is an educational video. This is a pretty much basic step-by-step makeup tutorial, beginner friendly for those of us that are just stepping into the makeup world, or some of us that just need to know how to do something a little bit more specifically and want that step-by-step walkthrough. This is a video for you. All of the products that you guys are going to see are beginner friendly products, meaning they are like drugstore products with the exception of one, and I'll mention it in the video. Everything is drugstore products, so you can get it at Ulta, Walmart, Target, CVS, Walgreens. You can get it there and it's not expensive. They are good prices for somebody that's just starting out, or even if you want something a little bit cheaper that you can use more daily, so you're not paying a lot of money for. Y'all know how that goes. You want something cheaper that you can use every day because it will be easier to replace than having to replace that $45 concealer that you bought from Sephora somewhere. No ma'am. With that being said, I'm not going to link the items in the description box because like I said, you can get them at many different places. However, I will have them on the screen for you just so you can kind of get that name quicker, or if you want to screenshot it, write it down, take a picture, whatever, you can do that straight from the screen. So I don't really think there's anything else left to say for this intro besides let's just get right into it. I really hope you enjoy, and subscribe if you have not already. Let's get into this beginner friendly step-by-step makeup tutorial. I am super excited about this video. This is a long overdue video and I'm so excited. So let's not waste any time at all. So first things first, you always want to make sure you start with a clean face. So my face is super clean, just hopped out of the shower, washed my face. It's giving dry, it's giving very dry. It's giving me to hurry this up so I can get some moisture on this baby. And of course, clean hands. So before I apply makeup, I like to use a toner. This one is just the Equate Beauty, so Walmart brand Witch Hazel Pore Perfecting Toner. Just the Pore Perfecting one is comparable to the Dickinson's Pore Perfecting Toner. If you know, Dickinson's is like the #1 Witch Hazel toner brand. So I just use this on a cotton pad, just put a good amount over that and rub that all over my face. Really any toner will work, but I like the Witch Hazel one because I feel like it gives that extra like cleanse after I wash my face, get everything off before I add makeup. Some other things that you also want to make sure you have prepped before you get started with your makeup is if you're going to use beauty sponges, you want to kind of dampen those before. I prefer to dampen them before I start my makeup, like right before. That way they're not so like soaking when I'm ready to use them, but they are just damp enough. So I have 4 different sizes here. If you're familiar with my YouTube Get Ready With Me's and things, you've seen all 4 of these different sizes, and yes, all 4 are going to get used. But before we do that, we need to finish preparing our face. Next thing I use, and especially now that it's the summertime, just recently added in a sunscreen to my makeup regimen and my everyday skincare. Even if I'm not wearing makeup, I throw this sunscreen on. It's nice and super lightweight. Next, for the base on our face is going to be a primer. So we have our Witch Hazel on our toner, we have our sunscreen, and now you need a primer. So the thing about primer is that it acts as a barrier from all of the outside, like, you know, the elements, dirt, grime, all that good stuff. Of course, we wash our face very carefully and making sure we do a good job, but you also want to have a primer just to kind of act as another barrier from all of the outside elements. I have a ton of different types of primers and I could go all day long on my favorites. Different types of everything really over here, but my daily, everyday go-to primer is my E.L.F. Matte Putty Primer. I also have the Matte Poreless Primer in this, and I know they have they have one more, I think it's like a plump one, but I go for the matte one because I have oily skin. For one, is the main reason. I have very oily skin, and for 2, this just helps keep me as matte as possible. So now that I feel confident with a good base on my face, I'm ready to move on to eyebrows. I've used pomades before, I've used different types of pencils, and what it comes down to is I cannot go without my E.L.F. Instant Lift Brow Pencil. I have it in the shade dark brown. Now the thing I like about this is that it has your spoolie on one end, so you don't need a separate spoolie. You've got your spoolie, and then it's got the pencil on the other end, and it's not too thin. Sometimes a too thin pencil just doesn't work for me, but this one is pretty good. I'm gonna give you a step-by-step. You guys are very lucky today because I never do my eyebrows on camera. It's very rare that I do because I need to be focusing, but y'all are gonna get it today. So first things first, of course, you wanna make sure that they're nice and cleaned up. I just plucked mine the other day, so there's not too many little hairs going around. I could use probably another plucking, but I think it's okay for now. So first things first, I'm gonna use the spoolie end and just brush my hairs in the direction I want my eyebrows to go. I want to give you guys the detail on this side because that's the eye that's to the camera. So let me go ahead and do this eye, and then I'll come back to you when it is time for this eye. So now that I have one eye done, I'm ready to give you guys the step-by-step for the other eye. So the first thing that I do is basically, let me start here. Everything about eyebrows to me is short hair-like strokes. So you don't want to be drawing these long, overextended, harsh lines on your eyebrows. You want to give short hair-like strokes to just kind of help it look a little bit more natural and a little bit more like hair. See how that is not very like colored in and permanent marker-y? It's giving like hair. So the first thing I do is trace the bottom of my eyebrow, again by using short hair like strokes, to get a nice clean base. So I start kind of not in the very middle, but kind of in between. And I do short hair like strokes. Hope you guys can see okay. Short hair like strokes to give more of a defined line on the bottom. Now I do extend out just a little bit just because of the way that I do my eyebrows. I feel like I can overextend and then cover a little bit up with foundation and concealer, and you guys will see that a little bit later in the video. So we're going to trace out and carve out this bottom part of our eyebrow here to kind of see how we want our shape to be. Now is the part where we're going to start making short hair like strokes in the middle, and I'm pressing very lightly with my pencil. The good thing about doing eyebrows first is that if you make a mistake, you can just erase it and start over. You don't already have foundation and stuff like that on. So I just do short hair like strokes to fill in, and then when I get to the highest part of my arch right here, I will go back with kind of like defining and carving out how I want the end of my eyebrow to look. So I'm going to press a little bit harder so that I'm giving more of a carve, just like how I did on the top, to seal out the end of my eyebrow. Then I'll just go back in with short hair like strokes to finish filling out the eyebrow. When I think it looks really good and it looks balanced, I'm ready to kind of move on. The inside is looking a little wonky right now, but I never worry about that. And like I said, y'all will see in a little bit why. So after you have the eyebrow how you like it, making sure everything is clean and crisp, then I'm gonna go in with a spoolie and just again brush those hairs out very gently, because some eyebrow pencils, if you press too hard, the spoolie will take it right off. So there you go. Now our eyebrows are filled and we're ready to clean up and carve with concealer. Okay, so to clean up underneath our eyebrows, we're going to use a concealer and a round top flat brush. Now this brush is an E.L.F. brush that literally cost $1 or $2. Now the concealer I'm using, this one, y'all are gonna laugh when you see it. I tried to pull the security label off so y'all can see what it's called, but this is the RK by Kiss brush concealer, and I have it in the shade Fawn. Y'all, I tried to pull it off so we could see exactly what it is called, but it's basically the same as the LA Girl Pro Concealer. So if you're familiar with that, then this might be something that you could use as well. I just kind of squeeze out a little bit and then grab my brush like this to take it off. So now when I want to start carving out my eyebrows and kind of cleaning them up, I always start at the highest point and I just dab a little bit. Notice how I'm not next to my eyebrow, because you don't want to put too much there because then it's going to be hard to blend out. Now you have halo eyebrows. So I start below and then I work my way up so that I'm not putting a whole lot of product underneath my eyebrow. And then I'm gonna go ahead and trace that line that we created with the eyeliner using the brush very carefully. This is something that may take some practice for you if you don't always do your eyebrows, because you want to be careful because you don't want to get too close and then have concealer in your eyebrows. That's not fun. And then any excess, I just brush it and cover my eyelid, especially if I know that I'm going to be wearing eyeshadow for the day. Just like that. Nice and cleaned up, giving us a nice crisp clean line. I'm ready to move on to foundation. What you'll need is obviously a foundation that is your shade. So I'll be using my Maybelline Dream Radiant liquid foundation in the shade 130 Cocoa, and then I use a almost kind of dome shaped foundation stippling brush, something of that nature. I am going to start by putting a pump of this on the back of my hand. It just helps you control, pump and a half. It helps you control your foundation better. So now I'm gonna take a dab on my finger and I'm going to just start dotting it all over my face. I'm not gonna use all of it on my hand because again, it's easier to add to your face than it is to take away. Now I'm gonna use my brush and I'm just going to stipple this into my face. You don't wanna be out here making circular motions and you don't wanna be out here brushing it. You just want to stipple, just dab it into your face. I go right over my eyelids like that. One important thing that you see me doing now is dragging the makeup all the way down into my neck and blending it in, because what you don't want to happen is you having this mask face after that. After foundation comes one of my favorite, if not the favorite, part of the makeup process, which is highlight and contour. For highlight and contour, I am going to use a combination of 3 different shades. I use 2 for my concealer and my highlight, and then I use 1 for my contour. Now, I'm going to be using the E.L.F brand today, and this is the Hydrating Camo Concealer with Satin Finish, and I want you to pay very close attention with how I lay this out on my face. So I'm going to start by applying this on the innermost part of my face, in my inner corner, and then a little bit on the outer edge of my eye, and then I'm going to go along my nose, kind of, if that makes sense, just to kind of trace and keep everything pretty much inside. And then I'm going to put a little bit on my chin, just a dot, and then some on my nose and some on my forehead. Now I'm going to go in with a medium-sized beauty blender. This is the average size beauty sponge right here. Then I have a medium, and then I have a teeny tiny. So we're gonna use the medium for blending out all of this. Now, I like to start with everywhere except under my eye. So I start with my chin, just in those, you know, tapping, stippling motions, and then I'm gonna move to my forehead next, because I wanna control the amount of product on my forehead. It makes more sense for me to go up here next so I can, there's not a bunch of concealer already on my sponge. And then I'm gonna move on to the middle part of my face, starting with above my lip, working my way up as I go. Because doing it this way is gonna add more product to the sponge, which is in turn going to give you more coverage under your eye where you really want it. For lifers, these are just techniques that I have over the years kind of picked up and have worked for me, and I just continue to use these same techniques every day. Okay, so now you guys can see the difference in the little bit of lightness that I am given. Nice coverage, looking more alive and youthful with your under eye concealer, and we're ready for a little bit of a lighter shade. So I take an even lighter shade and I focus this only in my inner corner. And then I'm going to go in with the contour color. And y'all pay very close attention to how I do this contour. I do small strokes, very, very short. You could smile and find where your crease is. That's a good way if you're starting out with contour, but if not, then kind of just like a little where your ear meets your head and kind of drag directly over, so you want to start your contour. And then you want to think about the hollows of your cheek. So sometimes people put their contour too low. and they end up looking like they just have bruises on their cheeks. You don't need to do that. I do sometimes put a little bit around my chin like this, just to add a little bit of definition there, but that's the most I do. Now I'm gonna use my teeny tiniest beauty sponge to blend out the inner corner. Again, just using that stippling, tapping motion. Now in order to blend out the contour, I like to use an angled brush, just like this. It's very similar to the foundation brush that we use, but it's flat and it's on an angle. And now when I blend out contour, I almost like push it up. So I'm tapping it into my skin, but I'm thinking in my mind about keeping it up. I don't want it in too low, because then I'm not going to, it's just gonna look crazy, you know. And contouring is something that, you know, you're not gonna get it right on the first time. So be patient with yourself, blend it out, take your time. Honestly, I put my contour like right below the highest points of my face. Liquid base is done and we are ready for powder. When setting your makeup, it is so important that you have a powder that is not too light. For us melanated skin girls, you don't want a powder too light because you're going to get flashback. I'm just going to be honest. If you take a picture with flash, it's going to show. Same thing with your concealers. You don't want one that's too dark, because then it kind of defeats the purpose of putting all this concealer on and brightening up your face. So what I've been loving, and it's really inexpensive, is the Black Radiance True Complexion Loose Setting Powder. And this I have in the shade Honeymoon. It's a very fine loose powder. As you can see, the second I open the top, it just starts coming up. I'm going to use my biggest teardrop beauty sponge and just kind of, I just like to press in paper towel, get those last little bit of moisture out. And I'm just going to dip this right in here. Notice how I'm trying to focus the tip of it in there. Give it a little bit of a tap so any excess might come off. And then I just lay this right where I put that first concealer. See that? So now it's setting that concealer color in there. There are many different types of setting powders. A lot of different types work. There's one called Airspun that's sold at Walmart. I don't know where else you can get it. I know for sure it's Walmart. That's a pretty good starter setting powder. I think I was just finding that it was too light for me. I felt like it was a little bit too fair, so I stopped using that one and kind of made the switch over. It took me a while to find some that I really liked between Juvia's Place and just like Morphe. Morphe had a really good one. This one I like. I feel like it's the perfect shade. It's, you know, worth your price, worth the price, and it works really well. So again, we just put this anywhere that we put that first concealer. And then of course, I'm going to use a lighter setting powder to set that lighter color concealer that we did. So I use my Juvia's Place I Am Magic setting powder, and this is in the shade Kalahari. I just take a different beauty sponge. This is a Real Technique sponge, probably one of my favorite sponges. And I take just the tip, and notice how I'm pinching it, because I want to make sure that I'm focusing right in my inner corner, and tap that in there. I'm running low. And then just pat off any excess. And then we're going to put this right in the middle. And we are set. For a temporary moment, our face is done and we are ready to move on to a nice neutral daily eye. Something I've been loving doing lately is using like a face palette for my eyes. The one specifically I've been using is the Black Radiance True Complexion Contour Palette, and I have the medium to dark shade. Now I like this because it has 3 different powders in here. You've got a dark contour powder, you've got a lighter, like a setting type of powder, and then you have a highlight. So I use all 3 of these to give me an eye look, and this is a nice daily beginner friendly eye look that I think you guys will really enjoy if you're looking for just something quick and easy. So I'm going to go in with this angled eyeshadow brush that has been used and abused, and I'm going to use this middle sculpting shade right here. And anytime you use eyeshadow, I just like to tap, 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 and then pat it off a little bit, and you will see that there will be a little bit of fallout. but that's okay. You want the tray to catch the fallout rather than under your eye to catch the fallout. So now I'm going to place this all over my eyelid, starting at my brow bone and then all over my entire eyelid. And what this is going to do is kind of just give you a nice even base and set any creams that you may have up there, because you remember we did underneath our eyebrow, but we didn't set it with anything. Once I feel like that's blended out pretty well, I will switch over and use more of a round top fluffy brush, and I'll go in with this darker contour color. And what we're going to do with this darker contour color is place it right inside of our crease, and we're going to drag it out slightly to give a little bit more shape to our eyelid. At the same time, I'm being very cautious to make sure that I'm kind of dusting it, blending it in with the other shade so it's not too dark, and we definitely never want any harsh lines. I'm also just going to fluff this right into my outer corner. This is a good thing about using fluffy brushes, is that you really don't have to do too much control, and it's not going to give you any harsh lines. So I use two different mascaras. My first one is usually just some cheapy whatever I can find. Usually it ends up being a mascara that I didn't end up liking too much, and that'll be my first coat. So this is actually a Shein mascara, a Shein Glam mascara. In the past I've used like Wet n Wild, just something really inexpensive. And I just go in and brush my lashes, top lashes. Nothing too crazy, just one coat, brush them out, kind of giving them that shape, fanning them out. Now, if you're gonna wear lashes, this would be the time where you would want to put eyelashes on. You'd want to glue those eyelashes on. I do eyelashes before mascara. I know some people do their mascara first. I do eyelashes first, but I'm not wearing lashes today. Since this is a beginner-friendly makeup video, we'll stick to the basics. So I put one coat of mascara on and I let it be, and I go in with face powder. This next product is probably the most expensive, or really the only expensive high-end luxury type of product that you will see in this video. And this is like the only brand that has a shade that works for me, as unfortunate as that is, or maybe I just haven't tried enough. Anyway, this is a Sephora pressed powder in 66 Mocha Spice. This runs at about $20 or $22, and I'm gonna go in with just a flat top face brush. We're just gonna apply this anywhere that our highlight did not go. So that means our cheeks, around our mouth, a little bit on the sides of our nose, around our forehead, the frame, kind of if you picture between your hairline and where we put that powder, right in that area. One trick I like to do with this, if I have found out that I'm not feeling my eyebrows or they're too blocky in the middle, girl, I will take some of this powder right here and just kind of on the inner part of my eyebrows, kind of blend that out a little bit. Problem solved. Every single thing we put on our face, we never swipe, ladies and gents. We never wipe, swipe, brush. We stipple and pat into our skin. All right, let's keep on moving on, and we are gonna go in with a contour powder just to kind of help accentuate a little bit more that cream contour that we already did with our concealer. So we have more Black Radiance for you. This is our Black Radiance pressed powder in the shade Ebony. And I am going to use, this is actually an angled blush brush, but I use it for contour because it's perfect. And just like the other powder, we're going to tap that in the pan, pat off the dusting, and just kind of like pat that, swipe that into our face with short hair-like strokes. Short hair-like strokes, because once you're moving on to your powder contour, if you mess this up, it's going to be hard to fix it. So you want to make sure you're moving gently. Powder on my jawline, very light dusting. I don't even know if it's showing up, if it ever shows up, but it makes me feel like I'm carving out my face. And then of course where we put the powder contour, the cream contour around our chin. And then I will go in with a little bit up here at my hairline. Next thing we are going to add is a blush. So this is Revlon blush in the shade Marvelous. This is a nice pink color. It just kind of helps you look flush and look alive. I'm using a Real Techniques very fluffy blush brush, and we'll just pat a little bit of that on, dust it off, and I just do a light. Now, where you want to put your blush is kind of above your contour, but below where you would put a highlight. So there's many different ways you can apply blush depending on the look that you are wanting to give. But I like to do it this way, and then I just do a little dot like on the apples of my cheeks to be nice and rosy and give you that alive look. There you have it. We are almost done with our beginner-friendly makeup look here. Before we finish up, I'm gonna go back into this black Radiance contour palette. I like to grab a very small but structured brush when I wanna do some highlighting around my eyes. I am going to grab on my brush a little bit of this highlight color, and we are gonna focus this on our inner corners of our eyes, right underneath our brow bone, our nose, and our Cupid's bow. Now that we're done with that, we are going to go ahead and spray our face with a setting spray. Lately, I've been using the Revolution Sport Fix Lasting Hold Fixing Spray, and I just spritz all over my face, and then I use a fan to dry it up. We only have 3 things left to do, y'all, and I am so excited. In my everyday eye look, I like to go in with a second coat of mascara with my Holy Grail mascara, y'all. If they ever discontinue this, they need to give me a warning so I can literally go to every store and buy all of them, because I don't know what I'm going to do if they decide to take this off the shelves in the makeup store. This is the Maybelline New York Lash Sensational Luscious Mascara. I think it used to be called Luscious Full Fan Effect Mascara. I used to trip up every time I tried. Go back to my old videos, y'all. I used to trip up every time I tried to say it. But here it is right here. And when you take the top off, it's got like an arrowy, pointy, Christmassy type, tapered type of top, and I don't know if that's what does the magic to my eyelashes or the mascara itself, but y'all, say a quick prayer and hope that they never ever give up this mascara. I'm just gonna go back over my eyelashes just like I did with the first mascara. In the same time, I try to think about like the motion of my hand that would help spread out my lashes. Once I do one coat, I'll take the tip of my mascara and swipe it across. And y'all, I got this technique from my mom, from watching her do her makeup all the time. I learned that from her. And then just go back over to fan out that product that we just added. And you guys can see the difference in this eye compared to this eye. Very gently go over my bottom lashes by moving my hand back and forth in this type of motion on my bottom lashes to just put a little bit of mascara on them. So as you can see, short strokes and a little wiggle. One final thing for face that I am sometimes into, sometimes I just kind of skip over it, most of the time I skip over it, is highlight. But I'm going to include it for y'all because I know it's like all the rage. A lot of people like highlighting. And what kind of beginner makeup tutorial would this be if I'm not giving you beginner highlighting tips? So I use my CoverGirl True Blend bronzer. I don't know if this is even still a thing that's sold anymore. I'm using a blush brush. This is actually an E.L.F blush brush. I only use this for highlight. And I just kind of hold down an angle and just give a little light dusting, tap, tap, tap. And then you want to focus highlight in the highest parts of your face. So think about your high cheekbones. You could also use this for over your nose. Give it one final dusting and over your lip like that to kind of add to what you already put there. But that's basically it for highlighting. It's just enough to kind of give you that extra little pop of sun-kissed. The very last thing to do is lip. And I'm gonna show y'all a little basic, little something in case you want to just be a little extra on a regular day out. For this part, I'm talking specifically to my melanated girlies. We always want to use a brown lip liner. Okay, we always want to have a brown lip liner. I don't think it really matters what color lip you're wearing. I found that brown lip liners are exactly what we need to make any lip color look good. So my holy grail, and obviously because look at how short it is my NYX Suede matte lip liner, and I like to use the shade Downtown Beauty. So you want to make sure it's nice and sharp. Mine is sharp. You just want to trace around your lips. I do my whole bottom of my bottom lip on the line, pull it in a little bit on the corners, and then I do the same on the top. Trace over the top, pull it in a little bit on the corners, because that's gonna help give you that ombre look that I feel like looks really good with like a nude lip or something like that. For a lip, there are, obviously you can just pick up any lipstick color, any lip gloss color, whatever the case may be, but I'm going to show you one of my favorite daily lip combinations that I like to wear if it's just a regular day out. So first of all, these NYX butter glosses are so good. I've got a couple different colors, but the ones I'm going to focus on these two today. These NYX butter glosses are so good. They're so light, easy to apply throughout the day, and they even look good without a lip liner. But right here I have the shade Madeline, and then I have the shade Angel Food Cake. And we're going to use these together, simply just putting one color on first and then the other. So I'm going to start with the Angel Food Cake, which is the more pink color, and I'm running out. And this is going to go all over the lip. And I kind of turn the tip of it to blend in together into the lip liner. I don't put this over the lip liner, I blend it into the lip liner. Yeah, we're running out. I like this color to cover the most of my lip. Just give a little together. Then I'm gonna go in with this lighter shade, and I like to focus this in the middle-ish, the most part plump, to make them look nice and plump. So I'm gonna take Madeline and just put it in the middle like that. And just pat that together to help ombre out the lip. So that is it. This is a finished look. This makeup look takes me maybe 20 minutes. 15 to 20 minutes. The longest thing is really the eyebrows. So once you get your eyebrows done, and once you are, used to doing it and it's easy for you, your makeup steps and makeup process is gonna fly by. It's gonna be so easy, especially your everyday makeup, which is exactly what this look is. So I really hope this video was helpful. For those of you just beginning makeup, one tip that I would give is to just make sure that you're practicing. You're not gonna get it right the first time, and it's not gonna be everything that you hoped it would be the first time, and that's just me being honest. You've got to keep on practicing. I used to play makeup all the time and just sit at home and just practice, and it would be on days that I didn't have anywhere to go, y'all, because I was not about to play in my face when I really had somewhere to be, not knowing if the look was gonna come out good. So if you are a true beginner, like brand new to this makeup world, it is a good idea to just find some time where you don't have anything to do, you're not going anywhere, where you can literally just sit at home or wherever and play in makeup. I hope that my little tips and tricks and lesson was helpful for you. If it was, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and comment down below. Maybe there's something else you'd like to see, another type of makeup look you'd like to see from me. Just let me know in the comments. Follow me on Instagram at yes.its.t, where I love to interact with you guys there also. That's really it for this beginner-friendly makeup look. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye for lifers.
She got the wrong thing, that's why